suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet. We'd forget all of the local differences that we have, and we would find out once and for all we really are all human beings here on this.
Dr. Isla Grayson leaned against her office window at the Atmospheric Research Institute, watching the snow drift under an unusually still sky. Reports of drones, orbs of light weaving geometric patterns over Ridge Valley, had been pouring in for weeks, alongside electromagnetic disturbances and sudden atmospheric shifts. But the strangest detail? The lights seemed to change depending on how they were observed. Spheres to the naked eye, structured objects through infrared, and blank static on older equipment. Her phone buzzed on her desk. Another civilian report. 5 lights in a V formation, hovering over the Starlight Monastery. Temperature dropped 15 degrees. Isla frowned, noting the location. It was the 3rd religious site linked to the sightings this week. A low hum filled the air, subtle at first, but growing steadily. The lights in her office flickered, and her computer screen froze before displaying a single line of text. "Stop digging." She froze. She wasn't connected to the internet. Her data was stored locally. Moments later, her phone vibrated with a text from an unknown number. "They're watching. Don't trust anything you see." Her heart raced. This wasn't paranoia anymore. She grabbed her external drive and started backing up her research when there was a knock at the door. A man in a black suit stepped in uninvited. "Dr. Grayson," he said, his voice calm but cold. "We need you to cease all research into the Ridge Valley anomalies. This is beyond your clearance." "Clearance?" she asked, forcing her voice to remain steady. "I'm a scientist, not a soldier." "Then don't act like one," the man replied. He placed a sleek device on her desk. It emitted a sharp tone that made her ears ring before it powered down. "That was your first warning." He turned and left without another word. As soon as the door shut, Isla's computer flickered back to life. She stared at the message still flashing on her screen. "Stop digging." But something inside her refused to back down. The next morning, Isla drove to Ridge Valley with portable equipment. As she crested the ridge, the hum returned, louder now. Above her, 5 glowing orbs hovered in a perfect circular formation. Her scanner began to beep wildly, logging electromagnetic spikes that defied physics. She grabbed her camera, but stopped when her phone vibrated again. If you see them, it's already too late. The orbs shifted into a triangular formation before descending closer. Isla felt a strange pull, like her thoughts were no longer entirely her own. She stumbled backward as the hum intensified, the lights dimmed, and a final text came through. "They're not drones. They're the first." Her equipment stopped functioning. The lights above her shimmered one last time before vanishing, leaving an unnatural stillness in their wake. "This isn't technology," Isla whispered to herself. "This is something else." The hum still echoed in Dr. Isla Grayson's ears as she reviewed the readings from her scanner in the safety of her home. The electromagnetic spikes formed patterns, geometric shapes that weren't random. They were designed. Her hands trembled as she overlaid the data with the location of recent sightings. The points aligned perfectly, forming a global grid, with Ridge Valley at its center. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a text. It was a call. "Dr. Grayson," the voice said. It was male, calm but urgent. "Do you know what you've stumbled upon?" "Who is this?" Isla asked, her voice wavering. "You don't need my name. What matters is that Project Bluebeam isn't just a theory. It's happening, and you're in the middle of it." Isla's grip tightened on her phone. She'd heard of the conspiracy before, a covert project allegedly designed to simulate religious phenomena using holography and electromagnetic technology, but it had always been dismissed as a paranoid fantasy. "This is real?" she whispered. "Very real," the man replied. "And those drones? They're not just tools, they're the heralds." Before she could ask more, the line went dead. Isla stared at her screen as an email notification popped up. The subject line read, "They lied to us." Attached were declassified documents, diagrams, and memos dating back to 1987. The documents detailed Project Bluebeam, confirming everything she'd dismissed as conspiracy nonsense. The drones were part of Phase 1, perception manipulation. Using advanced holographic technology, they could project images into the sky, religious symbols, deities, even entire celestial phenomena. The goal, to orchestrate a global event so convincing it would unify humanity under a single world order. That night, Isla drove to the Starlight Monastery, one of the religious sites linked to the sightings. The small chapel sat on a windswept hill, eerily quiet. Her equipment beeped as she approached, detecting the same electromagnetic interference from Ridge Valley. Inside, a lone monk knelt in prayer. He turned as she entered, his face pale and weary. "You've come to see them, haven't you?" he asked. "The drones," Isla replied. "They've been here, haven't they?" "They're not drones," the monk said. "They're messengers." Isla hesitated. "Messengers? From who?" The monk gestured to the stained glass window behind him. The light filtering through cast shifting patterns on the floor, almost like moving constellations. "They showed us," he said, "a vision of heaven, but it was wrong." "What do you mean?" Isla pressed. "They showed me the gates of paradise, but I felt nothing, no peace, no love, just emptiness." His voice trembled. "It wasn't real. It was a trick." Before Isla could respond, the hum returned, louder than before. The stained glass window began to shimmer as if the light itself was bending. Outside, the drones appeared again, forming a glowing crucifix in the sky. The monk collapsed to his knees, weeping. "They're here! The prophecy!" Isla rushed outside, her camera rolling, but as she filmed, the image on her screen wasn't a crucifix. It was something mechanical, almost insect-like, with sharp, angular limbs. "What are you?" she muttered. Her phone buzzed with another text. "You're being conditioned. Leave now." The next morning, Isla met with a whistleblower who claimed to have worked on the original Project Bluebeam. His name was Elias Kane, a former contractor for a defense firm. He was gaunt, his eyes darting nervously as they sat in a secluded diner. Project Bluebeam started as a psyop, Elias explained. The idea was to unify the world by creating a shared religious experience, simulate the Second Coming, a divine awakening, whatever would make people fall in line. "But those drones," Isla began. "They're not ours," Elias interrupted. "The project was scrapped in the 90s. We couldn't control the tech. After the prototypes went live, we started seeing anomalies." "Anomalies?" Elias leaned closer, lowering his voice. "The drones didn't just project images. They started interacting with people's thoughts. People would see what they wanted to see, what they feared most, or what they worshipped. It wasn't technology anymore. It was something else." Isla's stomach turned. "You're saying the drones evolved?" Elias nodded. "And now they're back. Someone, or something, reactivated the project. But this time, they're not just simulating God, they're trying to become one." Before Isla could respond, the lights in the diner flickered. Outside, 3 black SUVs pulled into the parking lot. "They've found us," Elias muttered, sliding a USB drive across the table. "Take this. It has everything. Run." The hum returned, rattling the windows as the drones appeared above the diner. Isla grabbed the drive and bolted out the back door, the sound of approaching footsteps echoing behind her. As she drove away, the sky above shimmered. For a brief moment, she saw it. A massive, glowing figure, its form shifting between a benevolent angel and a menacing machine. "What the hell is happening?" she whispered, clutching the wheel. Her phone buzzed with one final message. "Phase 2 begins." Dr. Isla Grayson didn't stop driving until she reached the edge of the Ridge Valley exclusion zone. The USB drive Elias Kane had given her was clutched tightly in her hand. It was the only lead she had, and she knew time was running out. Pulling into a remote parking lot, she booted up her laptop and plugged in the drive. Files populated the screen, videos, schematics, and memos from high-ranking officials. She clicked on one labeled Phase 3 Overview. The grainy video showed a man in a military uniform standing before a screen displaying the words Project Blue Beam. "This is the final stage," the man began. Phase 1 established perception manipulation. Phase 2 synchronized religious projections across key sites. Phase 3, the Revelation Protocol, activates mass brainwave alignment, leveraging global electromagnetic grids to induce collective obedience. The drones are the delivery system. Isla's heart sank. It wasn't just holograms or psychological conditioning. The drones were designed to modify human consciousness itself. The screen flickered and another video played. It showed a test subject strapped to a chair as a drone hovered overhead. The subject's expression shifted from confusion to terror, then to serene submission. "Do you understand now?" a voice asked from the shadows. Isla spun around to see a woman stepping out of the darkness. She was tall, dressed in a sleek suit, and carried an air of authority. "Who are you?" Isla demanded. "I'm Dr. Mara Voss," the woman replied. "I was the original lead on Project Blue Beam. You're meddling in things you don't understand." "Why are you doing this?" Isla asked, her voice shaking. "To save humanity," Mara said coldly. "The world is fractured. Wars, famine, chaos. This project will bring unity, purpose, and peace." "By erasing free will?" Isla snapped. Mara sighed. "Free will is an illusion. People need a higher power to believe in. If we have to simulate that to bring order, so be it." Suddenly, the hum returned, louder than ever. Outside, the sky lit up with a massive hologram, a figure cloaked in light, radiating divine energy. It was a being worshipped in every religion, its form shifting to match the viewer's beliefs. To Isla, it looked like an angel. To someone else, it might look like a god or prophet. "This is Phase 3, Mara said, watching the hologram with a satisfied smile. "The Revelation Protocol. In 24 hours, the entire planet will see this. They'll feel its presence in their minds, and they'll follow." "I won't let this happen," Isla said, stepping back toward her laptop. "You won't have a choice," Mara replied. Before Mara could act, Isla grabbed the USB and bolted. She ran to her car as drones appeared overhead, their lights converging on her. The hum rattled her teeth as her vision blurred. For a moment, she felt calm, like she wanted to stop, to give in. But she didn't. She gritted her teeth and kept moving, slamming the car door shut and flooring the gas pedal. Hours later, Isla reached an abandoned radio tower deep in the forest. Using the files on the USB, she hacked into the emergency broadcast system. It was risky, but it was her only shot at exposing the truth. The drones appeared almost immediately, their lights casting eerie shadows across the tower. Isla ignored them, typing furiously as she uploaded the files. "This is Dr. Isla Grayson," she said, speaking into the microphone. "Project Blue Beam is real. What you're seeing in the sky isn't divine. It's a weapon, a system designed to control your mind and erase your freedom. Fight it." The drones began to hum louder, their lights growing blindingly bright. Isla's laptop beeped. Upload complete. She hit send, transmitting the files to every major media outlet. The drones descended, surrounding her in a circle. Her body trembled as the hum became deafening, and the sky above her shifted. The hologram descended, its radiant form towering over the tower. "You can't stop it," Mara's voice said, echoing from the drones. "This is humanity's destiny." "No," Isla whispered, tears streaming down her face. "This is a lie." With a final surge of energy, the drones pulsed and the world went silent. Weeks later, Isla's message had gone viral. The files she uploaded were dissected by journalists, whistleblowers, and conspiracy theorists. Governments denied everything, but the truth was out there. The holograms disappeared, but the drones remained, their purpose unclear. Some claimed they still influenced thoughts subtly, while others believed the project had been fully dismantled. As for Isla, she disappeared. Some said she was taken, others that she went into hiding. But her message echoed across the world. Question what you see. Question what you believe. And never stop fighting for your mind. Thank you so much for tuning into Alien Persuasion. Your support keeps me going, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's your take on the mysterious drones over the US? Drop a comment below, and let's get the conversation started. And don't forget to subscribe to join me on even more thrilling journeys into the cosmos.